All right, guys, welcome back to another amazing show of Real Estate Uncensored. We have an incredible topic. We're going to be talking about stuff when it comes to low markets and how you're going to deal with it and how to, low inventory. But here's your countdown. Look, Gene, I don't want you to bust my nuts every time I do one of these countdowns, but I mean, what are your thoughts? Where do you think this show's going to go? And he's completely muted and he can't talk, which is actually hilarious. All right, guys, we have 10 seconds. You guys are going to be in the seats for a wonderful show. 5 seconds left. Here we go, ladies and gents. Get your pen and paper. Okay. So that dumpster fire happened. Thank you, team, for not jumping in, asshole.
That was on purpose. I let you have the intro to yourself.
Just hanging by a thread.
God, I was looking for support, and he's just sitting back going, nope, not going to happen. You're like Bernie Sanders. You're sitting back there on your little chair with your gloves on, not doing shit, just kind of sitting there freezing.
You brought up something while we're talking, Dick Trackus. Wait, is this Dick Trackus or Nick Sakis today?
We're Nick Sakis today because I got it on a plaque, remember?
Oh, right. We're going to talk about that. But before we talk about anything else, would you mind doing a little legwork for me and pulling up that really nice Bernie Sanders thing you did of me for the crowd? That was one of my most loved posts of 2000.
It went completely viral, I think.
It did. 2020.
Viral as Gene can go viral. It went viral.
Let's take a look. This guy's insanely talented. This is going to end up on a hoodie somewhere that we're going to be selling soon. So, Nick, wait till you see this, Mr. Greg. Have you seen this yet?
Yeah, he actually did one for me as well.
I
didn't post his.
I had a friend of mine last night, like 11:30, who is not really on Facebook, reach out and go, I got a text message. Are you okay? And I'm like, this is a guy from the gym. So I'm like, maybe he hasn't seen me at the gym or what? I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, why? And he sends me a picture of this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing just fine.
Stupid.
I'm going to have hoodies made. So let me know. You put your orders in right now.
That's the power of social media, right? That's why we do these calls. You got to act quick on shit like that. It went completely crazy in a week.
Oh my God, you guys are retarded, and I love you to pieces. But guys, I wanted you to obviously welcome back to another show, the Real Estate Uncensored. This is going to be an amazing show. We have Gene Volpe, the Evil Bald Ninja. Gene, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
We have Jake, the Sergeant Wolf. Jake, hello.
Cheers and charge hard, Greg McDaniel.
I love you.
Just Greg?
Nick?
Oh,
what?
Just Greg?
Yeah.
No. How about your boys? How about your other boys? Cheers and charge hard, Greg McDaniel.
Oh, no. Yeah, that too.
Sure.
Terrible.
And then we have the legendary shrinking man, Mr. Nick Sakis, is in the house.
How we doing, fellas?
Dude,
Feeling good.
love having you guys on the show. We're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff today. Really, it's going to come down to how to operate in a low inventory market. So I'm actually going to hand it off to one of you guys, whoever wants to go first. I believe it was Nick or Gene or I don't know who came up with the idea for the topic of the day, but I actually just recorded a thing with Bernice Ross for Inman News in regards to this, and I would love to get some of your thoughts, comments, and kind of who wants to jump in first, because this is a real thing right now. We really need to talk about this.
Yeah, we do need to talk about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, all across the United States of America, we have extremely low inventory on housing, and everybody's marketplace is extremely competitive. More and more real estate agents are getting into the mix. You guys have a tremendous amount of buyers and extremely low inventory. Plus, the sellers, even if they're thinking about selling, are concerned. Where in the world do I go? It's tough for them to go ahead and find another house most of the time to go ahead and operate in. I'm hearing sometimes inventory is like 0.2 of a month in some of these metros or less. New construction is going crazy. So we should banter about it. Let's talk about some strategies that might be able to help some of the agents in penetrating marketplaces and getting in front of prospective sellers and beating the competition. Greg, you're live action in production. What do you think?
You said penetrating, and my mind went to a totally different realm. I thought we were just on a real estate show. But yes, 100%. One of the things that we're doing to really kind of get in front of folks when it comes to low inventory is that we're going high into social media. We're getting into Clubhouse, which is a phenomenal group. If you guys have not been a part of it yet, I know Jake has been a part of it. Gene has joined me. Nick, you have not, because you're not an app. You're not an Apple guy, which I need to just literally come across, from California to Florida and just browbeat you on that one. But I mean, it's an opportunity to become incredibly visible and relevant in front of a lot of people that are in your local community. So you can do stuff, with a low inventory. You can get out there and talk about local businesses, highlight them, talk about local, HOAs, talk about different communities, and really just get out there and have a good time. But Nick, I'm going to go to you first, Android boy. And just say, what would you think about, getting in front and selling people in a low inventory marketplace? How would you do that?
I got a lot of nicknames this year already. Dick Crackus and Android Boy. So it's like every episode now. I don't know where we're going, but yeah. So this has been an ongoing issue. I mean, obviously it's coming to a head now because, like Jake said, there's literally thousands of people getting their license, on a monthly basis. So it just brings that much more competition into play. But one of the things that we've been doing for quite a while is some specific campaigns, and this can be organic on your timelines, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or this can be run as a paid ad. Typically recommend do it on your profile first and then run that as an ad so you get the social proof on your profile. But with your permission, so there's two levels of this. One, the easiest thing to do would be to take screenshots of your CRM and show people that you are actually in business and that you have buyers, and that these people, I have 25 people that just registered on my website last week and they're looking for a home. Can you help us in this specific area, right? In this neighborhood for this, like you can give all the details. That's like the easiest thing to do because everybody can go in their CRM and take a screenshot of, previous leads that have come in and make it look like they got all these buyers looking for houses and get a seller to raise their hand and contact them directly. The next thing you can do, if you have permission from your buyer, and I recommend you guys do this all the time, like Gene always says, whip out your phone, right? We're talking about penetration and whipping out. Interview the people that you're doing business with. So you have buyers in your car that you are showing property to that are just as frustrated as everybody else on the internet that has not interviewed with you yet, right? So when you show those real people and you pull out your phone and say, hey guys, I'm here with Jake and Gene, and they're trying to find their perfect forever home in Tampa, Florida, in subdivision, East Lake Oaks, or whatever it is, right? We're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a pool. Do you know anybody?
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it brings connection because it shows the real people that you actually have somebody. You're not just a BS marketer going out there and saying, I have buyers. You're bringing some emotion into it. Maybe they show their kids. We've had people direct message with those campaigns of, I actually was thinking about selling my house, saw your video. So like that kind of stuff can go viral. But it also is a very good way to show that you're in business and you're working and you have people to get sellers to raise their hand.
Oh man, that's awesome info. Gene, what's your thoughts?
I probably shouldn't tell you this. I started a project today. I want to see how long I probably shouldn't tell you this. I want to see how long I can go on the next couple of weeks of this show by providing absolutely nothing.
Okay.
And see how long I'll stick around.
And bye, Gene. Okay, so we're going to go back to Jake.
I knew I shouldn't have told you. That would have been more fun. I follow Sakis, to the ocean and back. He's got it. There's something right now I think it's just about making people think. There's an opportunity here for a short period of time, I think, where prices are, I don't want to say they're artificially inflated, but let's say they're artificially inflated. So because there's a lack of inventory, prices are higher. And because rates are still so low, it produces this crazy situation, I guess, where it would be a really good time to sell. And one of the things that I still find that happens very often is people think they know what their home is worth by Googling the address or by checking on Zillow. That's typically where everybody leads, right? I had a real estate agent in my circle, a good friend of mine, who recently, I think I might have mentioned this on one of our past shows, but who just posted, and I could probably share the post. It was so simple. You know how when you type into Facebook, if you don't put a picture up, you can put the background to it so it actually looks like a picture. You know what I'm talking about? So it's only text, but it looks like it stands out a little bit more. He posted in there, when's the last time you looked to see what your house was worth? Call me for a no obligation CMA or DM me. He got 19 messages where people were like, all right, I'll take the bait. What's my house worth? And what he told me the last time I talked to him about it was, of those 19, a lot of people were kicking the tires, maybe talking about refinancing, like things along those lines. But there were 3 people that went, oh, I didn't really know that. Maybe it's time to really start to look at selling. So like something as simple as what Nick said or something as simple as what I'm talking about, it doesn't even need to be overcomplicated. Throw something out there for a hot minute and just see what kind of response you get. I mean, it's a really unique market and we don't know how long it's going to last. And I think there could be a play on right now. If you're in a position to, I keep saying to people, if you're young, early 30s, and you have the ability to shack up with mom and dad for 18 months, sell your property right now at a ridiculous number and go for one of those, like, my house is worth $400,000. I'm going to ask for 1.8. And if somebody offers me 1.7, I got to sell it. Right. Like I'm being ridiculous, but you get the point. Ask for an unreachable number until somebody gives it to you and then move into the basement for 18 months and buy it when the market hits low. Like if you're in a position with no kids to be able to upgrade the next year, you could really seriously increase your equity play by just making a couple bold moves.
I love it. Jake, what's your thoughts on that, man?
You know, so I've heard that quite a bit, Gino, across the U.S. from some of our agents. There are people that are selling and going into the rental market right now.
Yeah.
They're capturing their equity, and then they're thinking this thing is just going to tank at some point. What are you seeing, Greg?
It's a mixed bag here in the Bay Area. I mean, I just got the phone call with my sister. She and her husband and their 4 kiddos just bought a house up in the foothills. They're moving up there, and they're going to be renting their house out down here. So it's just there's so much change that's going on. I mean, I'm not going to give away the address or price or anything, but they're renting their house for, let's just say, a lot of money, right? And they're going to be able to offset the cost of their house plus their new house based upon that. So I think there's shifts and changes. Gentlemen, I want you guys to weigh in. What do you think is one of the biggest shifts that you see coming?
Cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
I see danger coming.
No, I'm not going to go down that path because Nick and I have had conversations offline about this a little bit. And believe me, I'm no guru by any stretch, but I think here's what I'll say to you, and you guys can go off this because there are going to be shifts in every single thing financially. This is just, again, I am an idiot from West Philly. No. Go ahead.
You're the evil bald ninja from West Philly.
All right, I'll take that. But here's what I want to say to you. If you are taking your financial advice from what I'm about to say, you deserve all the pain you get, right? Just so we're clear. This is not financial advice. But I do think, and I've been talking to a lot of friends in the know about this, it's going to cascade. Everything's going to, I don't want to say take a hit, but everything's going to move from the bonds, stocks, mutual funds, commercial real estate, people's employment, welfare, help from the state. I don't know if you call it welfare, whatever you call it. Residential real estate, vacation homes, right? So I'll give you a scenario, right? Commercial spaces in big cities are starting to rethink their bottom line where they're owning and renting space out. New York City, Philadelphia, Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of companies. Bed Bath & Beyond just filed for bankruptcy. They're closing 70 stores across the country, whatever that ends up being. With Amazon taking over everything, these places are going to be forced to constrict. When they constrict, like, for example, one of my favorite Italian restaurants right down the street just closed its doors a month ago. Guess what happens when that happens? The owners go away. 150 people are out of jobs. So either they're not able to pay the rent and the landlord takes the hit and thereby goes back to the bank and hopefully can make a deal, or has to give the house back to the bank. I mean, there's a million things, right? Or there's a mortgage they can't pay anymore. Maybe they were on the market to buy. Now they're not gonna. There's a business that's out of business, right? So tax dollars get gone away. There's a guy that owns that property that's now not getting his $20,000 a month for all that space. this stuff is going to trickle, man. And when Bed Bath & Beyond closes 70 stores, what happens to the stock? Does it soar or does it go down?
Oh, it definitely goes up. Definitely
goes up.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, and you know what? In certain cases, like if Elon Musk comes out and gives it a little tag, it might go up for a short period of time. But there's going to be a ton of movement that's going to affect people. Like, just think, for example, about my father-in-law is closer to retirement than I am. If he's sitting in aggressive funds and the market takes a shit, he's going to be in a bad way, right? So you really got to look at all this stuff. And it's not Veronica saying get your milk and bread ready. I think if you're following this show and you know who we are and you're doing the right things, it's not gonna hurt that bad. You're gonna be in a good space. But there's gonna be tons of movement in every sector that affects every sector. And I've been saying this for 8 months, Greg. You know this.
I do.
5% of the people that are watching this are licking their chops. The other 95 are scared. What position are you in right now? So I didn't even answer your question, but I think there's a lot of things there to discuss.
No, you didn't. And actually, Jake, and then I want to come to you, Nick, in a second. But Jake, you're a war veteran, and you've seen hard times. You've seen countries shift. I mean, what's your take on this? Kind of dovetailing off of what Gene was saying.
Yes.
Guys, when Jake says yes, that means we're fucked. Okay.
Well,
he doesn't want to be added to the list. He's already on.
There's definitely going to be movement. So, yes. Well, the immediate need right now that we have in the real estate industry, a lot of people have a lot of buyers. We need to go right to the doors, right? Most of the time is door knocking even a thing anymore? Can we do that in COVID, or is it loosening up? What are you guys seeing?
No, not in California. Utah, Florida, wherever Gene lives. What are you guys saying? Are people being able to do that yet or not? Because I'm hearing that it's starting to loosen up magically after our new administration came in. A lot of things are starting to loosen up. So what are you guys seeing in your respective states?
I was never a proponent of door knocking anyway. Florida, we can do whatever we want.
By the way, I've door knocked in Florida, and I completely understand where you're coming from. I sweated my testicles off door knocking over there, and I misdressed myself by thousands of miles. I was suited up, and that was the worst experience ever.
You're better off renting a kid from somebody that you know and taking them to the local playground at the neighborhood that you're trying to get into and mix it up with the parents there than fucking door knocking for 5 hours.
You know how that just sounded, right? When you rent a kid, that's not the show we're on. Okay, no.
We're all on this, gentlemen.
Jake and Gene.
Nick, when you're talking about shooting videos and going directly to the consumer, how are you delivering that? How are you getting your data sets?
So I'm 100% Facebook. I mean, I live and die by it. Maybe I'll die by it with all the new craziness that's going on. But when we're talking about, and that does bring up, so the reason I said cryptocurrency is not necessarily cryptocurrency. It is going to be a new way for us to transact positions of value, whether you call that money or whatever. But the underlying technology underneath that is called blockchain. And so what's really happening, and the agents that got all in a tizzy in the past month that you've probably seen on all the different lab code agents and all these things, is all of a sudden they woke up and Zillow erased their profile.
Yeah.
And boo freaking who. I don't no longer exist on Zillow, because guess what? Zillow's your fucking competition. And everybody's been saying it at least on this show for a long, long time. But now it's happened and people are pissed off about it. Well, the same way that we've been telling you guys to market to your database and stay in front of your database, you used to be able to do that organically. Now you just have to pay a little bit of money to get in front of those people, right? So you can still do the same strategies I talk about, pulling out your phone, but we upload custom lists into Facebook, or we just do the 15-mile radius and really speak to those people in the copy so that they actually click on the video and watch it. So it's to answer your question, Jake, we don't necessarily do as much addressable geofencing, which I know like you do, because we stick to the social platforms as much as we can. But we talk to them in the copy and show them the proof in the video to get them to click and to watch it. But the reason I brought up blockchain is because what's going to happen in 5 years that's already building, there's already companies building around this, is there is going to be a way in the future for you to buy a house from a peer, from somebody else, and the title and the mortgage and the fucking everything's going to happen within 24 hours through the blockchain. It's all connected. And people like us, real estate agents, are going to be not bye-bye, but there's going to be a lot less of us. And the only reason I bring that up is because you guys need to pay attention and love on the people that you already know. Because there's so much content that you can talk about right now as a real estate agent, as far as what's going on with Zillow, what's going on, like this. Take what I'm talking about right now and read up on blockchain and what's happening, and educate your people as to, hey guys, things are changing in this marketplace, and I am your professional advisor. So this idea of just being a real estate agent, like the used car salesman, this is about building a relationship with your audience, and doing that through really relevant content. And like, I'm advising my people right now to talk about what happened on Zillow. Make a video about what happened, about how you got erased from Zillow, and start throwing some fucking rocks at Zillow and tell your people why that's happening and what's going on. Because everybody can relate when you get a new buyer, whether it's from online or somebody that you know, and you set them up on an MLS search and you tell them you have all the inventory, they're still going on Zillow. They're still going on Trulia and Homes.com and all these other sites, because those sites are still advertising and getting in front of those people. So when they're in that mindset of buying and they see the Zillow commercial, welcome home, and the perfect family, that's in their house that just bought, is like, it's resonating with people, and they've won that attention. So your marketing and the way that you talk to the consumer, it has to come from a different place, and just talk about the elephant in the room. Because if blockchain does happen in 5 years and you've been talking about it for 5 years, the people are going to be hesitant to use it, and they're going to call you first. I don't talk too much now.
Well, first of all, that was amazing. Can I jump in? You mind if I give you? I want to talk a little bit more about that 24-hour transaction thing, right? Greg, we might have talked about this. There's a company, and I think this is still basically conceptual. So I don't know how deep they are. It just caught my eye a couple of years ago. But there's a company called Smart RE that's on the blockchain and has their own crypto / I don't know if they actually have coins or they have tokens or whatever it is. But here's what they're doing. They're allowing homeowners to sell off portions of their equity to investors.
Yes.
Okay. And actually, Greg, I think they're in your neck of the woods. I think they're out in San Fran. And so think about this perspective. Your mom comes to you and says, your father and I want to retire, but we still got this house and all this stuff. Imagine if they could sell off 49% of their equity over the blockchain for a lump sum, whatever it's worth today, and take that money and run. It's not a loan. It's not a HELOC. It's not something you have to pay back. You now own your home in partnership with an investor. And so the investor's play is, if they're smart enough to invest in spots that are constantly moving up and going and increasing in value, their play there is to hold their 49% and not care about it for 6 years. And when they sell it, they make 100% on their 49%. And you walk away with your 51%. Like, I know there's people that are watching are going, yeah, whatever. Like, what do you do with deeds? And there's too many insurance issues. But there are some smart people out there, and technology is getting better, not worse. There's going to be ways for these things to happen overnight sooner than you think. And you need to be at the not at the forefront of that, let's say, but you need to be aware of these things that are going on so that you can speak intelligently about them and offer your folks solutions when they're available, right? And that, to me, is probably more important than a lot of the marketing.
I love it. Jake, what's your thoughts, brother?
So we're working with Likely Artificial Intelligence really heavy right now. They went ahead and just launched a database refresh to go ahead and have artificial intelligence people who are most likely to go ahead and sell. We're targeting all of our influence and everything else directly towards those consumers, trying to go ahead and kick the bushes and find these folks.
Okay, and that's a mic drop for Jake Wolf right there. I love it. Let's talk a little bit more in regards to. I know we've talked about, and I actually want to ask you guys this, because I was actually at one of my properties the other day, and I was trying to do one of those 2-minute walkthroughs that Zillow used to offer. Are you guys seeing those vanish? Because I couldn't find it anywhere where I could do a video, and I think they're going to only be offering it out to their agents. Is that a shift that you guys see taking place in your marketplaces?
I haven't seen that yet, but yes, it is going to be much more pay to play if you want to participate in the Zillow network anymore. So they've had their cards, they've stacked them for a while, and now they're just giving you the middle finger, and you might as well just get ready for, having a Zillow badge on your shirt if you want to be a part of their economy and you're just a Zillow agent.
Jake, I want you to take this really quickly. I know that what you're doing is combating against kind of what Zillow is building. I know that you're like kind of in the shadows right now, but I mean, with what you're building and where you're going with everything, give me your intake on kind of how you would combat this on a ground level for an agent who is just starting, just restarting, someone who's like a team leader that like their agents are freaking the fuck out because they don't have their accounts anymore and everything else. How would you go about that? Jake, you muted. Jake, you muted.
It's all about brand. It's a big brand play. It's about doing everything on video. Should know questions, frequently asked questions, putting it on your website, advertising like crazy, getting in social, getting out there to your marketplace. Otherwise, you're absolutely lost. That's literally it.
Yeah. So, Brand, when it comes to that kind of stuff, what would be some content that you would suggest people to put out there?
Yeah. So just like you would be looking for, I would say, information when somebody's in the mindset of being a buyer, in the mindset of being a seller. Also, it's all about information around town, talking about best neighborhoods. There's just a lot of value you can bring, but think about all the questions that you find yourself answering or suggestions and comments that you're making. Just write them down, put it on video, get it out there.
I love that. I know, Gene, let's bring you in real quick when it comes to getting the content. So let's say I'm Joe Buyer, right? Or Joe agent, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to create video. I'm going to hire Clever Leads, and this is not a promotion. This is just me talking with the companies that I use. I hire Clever Leads. I do the promotion. You're doing the back end. Nick is doing the back end as well. What would be and how would I go about finding information to shoot?
Oh God, you mean like content?
Yeah.
Oh geez, my goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Zillow's been stealing from you for years. You might as well steal back. Go on there and pull some articles and put your twist on it. Jake actually has one of the best methods. I'll let him talk about what he calls the Tom Ferry method, right? I don't know if he calls it that. I do.
We call it the purple suit.
The purple suit. Okay. But he'll explain that. I'm not going to jump on his. But I'm a big proponent of your emails. So one of the things I teach when I talk to agents is when they say to me, but I don't know what I would say. I go, how many emails do you answer on a weekly basis? And, every one of them is like 650. They figure, oh, my God. And I go, okay. Well, so inside those 650 emails, somebody thought enough of you to ask you a question for an answer that they don't know the answer to, right? And so you probably responded and said X, Y, and Z, A, B, C. And you answered their question. You think they're the only folks with that question? I doubt it. So why wouldn't you just create a minute piece of content on that email? So go into your sent box, look at all of the emails that you've responded to in the last 30 days. I tell people this. If I spent 1 hour with you going through your sent box, I guarantee you I could create for you an idea for a video per day for the next 2 years.
Damn. All right, Nick, Gene, who wants to jump in?
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that one. Who said piggyback?
That would be Christopher.
Yeah. So talking about social media, and we often refer to it as fake book or the highlight reel of your life, right? And so one thing that has worked extremely well that you don't see anybody doing, and I'm going to tell everybody on this call to do it, and then everybody's going to start doing it, but along the same lines of what Gene was talking about in your email, there's a lot of stuff day-to-day that you guys do. There's a lot of stuff day-to-day that happens that the consumer or your sphere doesn't see because it's just you handling business, right? What I want you guys to think about is how many things that have happened, and especially now, like in this market, that have actually gone wrong, okay? And it's against our nature to talk about the things that go wrong because social media, we want to highlight all the things that are good. Oh, I just got my seller $5,000 over asking. I got my buyers locked in at this interest rate because of my mortgage broker. So like all these things that are always positive, you come on and talk about how you've been working with these buyers for 247 days and they've been beat out of 5 contracts because it's such a hot market, and actually giving the real shit that's happening. And it doesn't have to come across negative to you. It just, this is what happened. I had a buyer in this negotiation. We had the inspection. Here's the inspection report. Guess what happens when you go? So because the general perception of a real estate agent to the consumer is all we do is drive people around in fancy cars and cash big ass checks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if that's all we're presenting to people, then that's all they're going to think. But why not present yourself as the real authority and the problem solver? And this is the 147 things that can go wrong in a transaction. And I've seen it. And this year we had this, and this. Last month, like, you could take that and run with it 1,000 different ways. But start talking about all the shit that can happen wrong or bad during a transaction that brings everybody back to you as an authority.
Dude, okay, so this is the one thing I'm going to say. I absolutely love that idea. This is something I've been toying around with a little bit. And if you guys can go out there and be humans and just say, look, I'm a complete total fucktard at times, and I completely screw things up, but this is how you can solve these problems. People can relate to you. And I would love, Jake, I want you to jump on this real quickly, and then Gene, I want you to jump on and dovetail off of what Nick was saying. When you're a human, when you screw up, because guys, let me tune you into something. We all fuck up at times. How do you parlay that into something as a positive? So Jake, how would you parlay that into a positive?
Is he ready? Looked like he was taking a call.
I don't know what he's doing.
He might be taking a call.
I think he's still muted, and he doesn't
he
know
might
he's
be muted. There he is.
I'm getting a lot of phone calls right now. So
That's because you're Jake Wolf. That's why you get calls.
I don't know if I would put any of my personal mess ups out there from a professional standpoint. Maybe. I don't know. Gene, can you help me with this one?
Yeah, no, and I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. I think some people don't like that, and I think that's probably okay, right? I don't think it's okay. It is okay because you're also real enough where you're not trying to portray somebody that's perfect, right? Like it's not like you're up there going, everything went well. I think part of it is you got to be comfortable with it, and I'll tell you something that I learned mid to late last year. I don't know if you guys remember this. I'll make fun of myself.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It was like a Jake Wolf face and a Gene talking.
You should have been mouth lipping like what I was trying to say, moving your hands, right? That would have been great. So I found something out last year that I thought was interesting. I'm not that kind of guy either, and I think there's also a fine line between making yourself look like an F up and somebody who's just living a real life, right? Like if you're constantly screwing shit up on your end and it's your fault, that's not what I would air. I would air things like, look, this, like Greg said, these buyers have been on the market for 237 days, and it's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of credit. It's not for lack of pre-approval. It's not for lack of houses that they found. We've been putting offers in. The market's so crazy. This is sort of what's been going on. I'm going to take you through that. And I think that puts you in a position of, we're not the only ones in that thing, right? We're not the only ones in that scenario. But what I found, if I can take it back, you guys are going to make fun of me. Here, take me off the solo so I can watch your faces. Can you do that? So I thought this was funny. So I told you the story. I got a phone call last year at like 1:30 in the morning from a real estate agent that I had been communicating with, and it was late at night, and I was drinking some wine. And when I talked to him, he had lost his wife. They were young. He had a 4-year-old son. He had lost his wife a year earlier, and he was really having a hard time with it. And we had a common connection. He knew my sister, all this stuff. So he called me, and we went through this whole thing, and I just kind of listened to him, right? And it really hit me. And I went down. I thought it was an opportunity for a video because there were some good messages out of it. And I came into my office. It was like 1:45, and I started to talk about it. And I started like really tearing up, like almost to the point of crying. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm putting it out. It's okay, right? And I did. And the funny thing that happened was that the next day, me and my wife are not friends on Facebook. That's a story for another day. I'll explain that one. That's pretty funny. But she calls me the next day and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like in my office hacking away. And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "Why am I getting phone calls about you crying like a bitch on Facebook?" I'm like, "Oh, that." Right? So I explained it to her and she was like, "You're a weirdo," right? But over the next couple of days, I actually got some information privately from people. And this is what they said to me. You know, I know that was hard for you to do, but I appreciate your vulnerability. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And like from a psychological marketing perspective, that rings a bell with me, right? Like I stood up and went, wait a second here. Okay. So I wasn't on there completely talking about how screwed up I was, but I was talking about real life stuff and it resonated with some people. And so like, I wonder how you incorporate the vulnerability, because everybody's vulnerable at times, right? In your business, in your love life, with your families, with your kids. I'm vulnerable with my kids all the time. They get me into a corner, right? So I wonder if you can incorporate that vulnerability and make it less about, look at what a screw up I am and how many things go wrong in my world, because nobody wants to do that. Right? For the people that aren't watching, we're taking a selfie opportunity, right? But I wonder if you can incorporate that vulnerability into your marketing at some point, and how people will react to that would be interesting to see.
Well, maybe that didn't convey well. I don't mean just like all kinds of stuff that you're a fuck up, right? I mean more highlighting the stuff that can go sideways in a deal we don't talk about. If you take that little snippet, right?
But why
How many
not?
things can go wrong? And Ronnie from Florida said 239 things in Florida can go wrong, which absolutely. But think about that. Think about what you would potentially think about as negative or wouldn't want to talk about on the highlight reel of your social, of bringing it to light, right? And it doesn't have to mean that, hey, if you missed a deadline on a contract and the buyers missed out and now everybody's in escrow dispute, like, no, obviously you don't want to talk about that, because then people are going to think you're not a professional. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there's all kinds of things that can go wrong in a transaction that don't have to be your fault by any stretch of the imagination, but just bringing to light and showing people, that's all this is about, is just showing people why their most expensive investment of their entire life should be trusted by a professional. And it's not as easy as the Zillow commercial and get my offer online, and I don't need anybody to help me. That's all.
And you know what? To that point here, I think is another important concept, and that's offering solutions. Here, talk with your hands while I'm doing it. Also, there's offering. Greg's falling asleep at the wheel.
Greg fell asleep again. I told him about the solo button. I don't know if this is a good idea or not.
It's definitely not. Sorry, guys. I'm responding. I'm working. I have people that I got to respond to. Fuck off.
No, it's all right. Then when you're working, just leave it like this. That way we don't have to worry about it. But
I'll just put it on your beautiful face right there.
Listen, this is how you get shirts made and people start watching more often. We're going to see a sharp decrease in viewership right now.
Hold on. Okay, now we have a higher viewership. Okay, there it is. Gene's gone. Okay, we're out of here. Jake, you've been incredibly silent, and that creeps me the fuck out, because I know what you do and what you've done in your past. When you're quiet and you just kind of lurk in the background, I'm looking for the drones over my house right now.
I've got a certain strategy, and I'm not going to do solo anymore, Greg, remember?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
This is a shit show.
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone, like even Veronica's sitting there laughing her ass off down in Texarkana, Texas, because you know what? We're just a bunch of morons having a lot of fun, just bringing the entertainment and education to a lot of folks. So if you guys are laughing, share this with everybody you possibly can. Tag all of us in everything you do. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. But again, back to Jake. Give us some insight, my friend, because you're sitting there, and I know you well enough. I've been good friends with you for over a year now, and when you sit there with your arms on the desk with your fingers touching your face, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's going to drop some heat. So let's go.
So yes, I am going to be competing with Zillow. Yes, we are working with Likely Artificial. Not doing solo again, Greg.
Yes, yeah, we are going to do solo. Yes, we are. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you guys want to find out what's getting ready to happen, come on over and see me.
Okay. Well, then there's that.
Wait. So look at the comment we got on the YouTube channel, right? What advice would you guys give to win multiple offer situations? I think that's a good one, because I think if you're a real estate agent right now and inventory is low, you're seeing a lot of that. So I'll give you an example. I got a phone call, and I'm not a licensed agent. I got a phone call from some friends who had an estate that they wanted to get rid of up in not far from where I grew up in Philly. And I went out to meet them to look at the house, and I was actually going to take it over and invest, but that's a long story. But They had it. They owned it
Del,
outright.
Love to connect with you, my friend. Absolutely love to connect with you. Oh shit,
Yep.
I'm still on audio. Sorry.
And I'm.
Nick, the solo button thing.
My bad. I'm sorry I brought it up for you guys.
Yeah. All right, so I'll just keep telling my story then. Might as well, since I'm here.
I am so sorry.
So these guys called me and said, we've never had anything to do with real estate. We know that you run around the game a little bit. Can you help us? So I went up there and I met them and I talked to the executor of the estate and I said, what do you expect? And he said, well, last year, this place was appraised for $50,000 as is. So I kind of expect it's going to be in that range. And I said, no, it's going to be worth more than that. And I guessed 80. Like I was like, I'm just putting a number on it, but knowing the area, it's probably going to be in the $80,000 range. I wouldn't be surprised. So I went home, called an agent, one of my good friends, David Joslin, who's a fan of the show. He helped me work it out. He comes back to me and he gives me a range of 110 to 120. Okay. I put it out. I said, I won't market this for you until tomorrow. But that night I saw an investor on my feed ask for properties in that specific zip code. Private messaged her. Within 4 minutes, I had a $125,000 offer.
What?
With a 10K back to the seller. So $135,000 for the house that he wanted 50 for. And it probably 2 years ago, it was probably worth 60, right? As is. But now the market's so hot that those things are coming off fixed up for probably between 220 and 240. And they're overpriced. People are making quick offers. There was one 2 doors away. So Greg, tell me what this looks like. When you see a property that's 2 doors away from the property that you have, and there's only one picture of the front and the only remarks are sold as is, you think it's a nice property or it's a piece of crap?
It really depends. I mean, you have to go take a look at it. I would go with probably a POS.
Yep.
But
it was. And guess what? One day, 140,000.
Yeah, and that's the way that things generally go. But that's for marketing in hot markets and with low inventory, you have to take extraordinarily different methods.
Yep.
Nick, I want you to jump in and kind of give me a thought on kind of, because you're an active agent, you're a practitioner, you're actually doing this shit on a daily basis. When you guys are in a low inventory market and you're talking about, kind of what Gene just talked about, how do you guys operate? What would your advice be?
So I saw somebody say, present your own offer. I've never done that. I have heard other people do that. So I can't really speak on that. But one thing that is we live in a small world. We live in a small community of real estate agents. And most of the time, especially in your target market, you run up against agents that you know. So if you have the benefit of knowing the other agent, and even if you don't, you should probably try to get to know that other agent very, very closely, because it's crazy to think about it, to say, especially as a new agent and getting into this, you think it's always about the price. It's not always about the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So find out the real pain points of the seller, and
Bingo.
You could win the bid because you have an extended closing. Maybe they just want an extra little bit of security of an extra $5,000 in escrow. Maybe they want you to be, waive the appraisal, which means you might have to come out of pocket. But there's so many different little things that you can negotiate on, that if you can really find out the motivation of the seller, and it's not always about price, 60%, 70% of the time, it is just top dollar FU, and maybe you'll have a non-cooperating agent on the other side. But that's what our transaction broker relationship is, right? We're trying to get this deal closed, talk to the other agent, find out the other pain points. How can we come in a little bit different with this offer to highlight and be the best presented offer?
Dude, you just nailed the fuck out of that.
Yeah, really good.
100% of the time. I mean, I've had several deals that I've worked on that the sellers would take a lower price offer based upon the terms or whoever's going to be buying it. So in a low inventory market, again, Nick, it comes back to exactly what you're saying. And Jake, I want to come to you and talk to you a little bit about this. But it's about finding out what the seller's wants and needs are. Once you understand what their why is, again, is it cliche? Yes, it's cliche. But it's still reality. It's still what people are looking for. So find that out. And Jake, once you find that why out, right? How with what you've built with Clever Leads and you as a marketer, how would you approach that to push that information out to the public? Let's say they want, I had a client that wanted to they sold their house, and we had an investor that was $50,000 above another offer. They took the other offer $50,000 lower because of one factor. They wanted a family to live in the property, not an investor to buy it. So how could you market these scenarios?
I think I would like to hear Nick elaborate a little bit more on that, to be honest with you.
All right, Nick, back on you.
So, okay. Greg, you guys know that I'm all about social media. Let's go back to social media. Jake wants to talk about text messaging, but last week we talked about offers and what is your offer. So going back to the offer class, which I think we should have an offer class, is how many different ways are there to buy and sell real estate? And right now, the general population is being bombarded by these big tech companies doing instant offers, right? So how are you coming across and what is your exact message? How can you be a little bit different? How can you create offers that might appeal to somebody with a delayed closing or in an estate sale or, all these different things that can happen, and having maybe one campaign go live with 6 or 7 different ads hitting those people to let them know that we do buy cash. We do have contractors that will help you renovate and pocket, say $40,000 to $50,000 more on your house because we can renovate it before and get the people paid at closing. Like there's all these different little things that if you don't speak it, if the people don't see it, you might have all these tools in your tool belt, but if the population doesn't know about it, it doesn't do you any good. If you're only having that communication one-on-one with somebody, at a Starbucks, telling them all the things that you can do to help them, write down the list of things that you have to offer. Do you have that contractor? Do you have a special bank or a mortgage broker that can help people with financing? All these different things need to be seen in the social realm. And again, I'm a Facebook guy, so Facebook and Instagram is where most people in our demographic that are searching for real estate live. And then you can get into YouTube marketing as well, but as a short time frame, not a lot of budget, that's the best place to start with. You should do.
Okay, we got a question from Jessica. She's asking kind of about waiving appraisals. It's almost, and she's saying that it's almost the only way to win right now in her marketplace, in her area. So, I mean, what would you do to agree to X dollars, air quote X dollars, over the appraisal in the event of a low appraisal? I got a lot of things to say on this thing, but Nick, since you're already on the screen, could you please jump in and answer that, and then I'll answer it myself as both operating practitioners in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one, and sometimes buyers get really scared, about that because it is what it is. I mean that's very understandable. Some of the ways that we protect our buyers with that is not necessarily coming in with a complete waived appraisal, but putting a specific price point on that. So let's say if you're comfortable with going $10,000 over ask, we will put that in the contract versus just saying we're completely waiving the appraisal. That way, at least, because when the listing agent or the seller says waive the appraisal, that's all they're saying is how much cash can these people come up with at closing. So if you define those terms in the beginning, and that way it gives your buyer some security, it gives the seller what they want, that's a good way for you to win in a multiple bid.
Yeah, when it comes to waiving an appraisal, it really comes down to the desire of the buyer. How much do they want or need to have this property? So I personally, if you're going to waive the appraisal, you have to have a conversation with the buyer and say, okay, well, let's look at your capital. How much cash do you have stacked in the bank? Do you have the ability to fill that gap? So let's say it's a $500,000 house. Comes in, you made a $500,000 offer. It comes in at $450,000. Do you have that 50 grand to bring it up to make it even? Now, I call it the ARM method, and it's called accept, reject, or modify on anything when it comes to your contracts and your buyers and sellers. And when it comes to a low market, when it comes to not a lot of stuff on the out there for your buyers to buy, you're going to have to do probably some different things. Again, always consult your broker, always consult your organization, make sure that everything is compliant. But the things that I do is I just have conversations with them, and I say, hey, look, this is how I operate. This is what we could do, because if we can come in and you have the capital to do it, fine, waive the appraisal, but we still have physical inspections, and we still have loan approval that are still going to be barriers for us to protect us from this in these low market areas. it's a case by case basis. Really, it's not a broad statement. Nick, Gene, Jake, would you guys agree with that? That none of these conversations are broad. They're always very, case by case, conversations.
Yeah, but let's make sure you get something really clear, right? Even if you have that conversation with your buyers and they're willing to go $10,000 over and they've agreed and they've signed and we have a contract, you need to be confident in those buyers as well and have a really good relationship with their mortgage broker to know, because your nuts are on the line when that happens. And if it doesn't appraise and they say F you and everybody goes into an escrow dispute and everybody's getting sued, don't say that you listened to the Real Estate Uncensored show and we told you to waive the appraisal. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Because when the seller sues the buyer, so does the agent on both sides, and you can be stuck in a bullshit transaction for over a year, over $5,000 in escrow or whatever it is to execute the breach of contract. So make sure, if you are going to do some type of addendum shenanigans, if you will, not a traditional contract, that you feel very confident that they have the cash to do something like that. You have a relationship with their mortgage broker for the mortgage broker to tell you that they do have cash like that and that you can get this deal done.
I completely agree with you. And we have Jake is going to have to bail out here in a couple of minutes. So Jake, before you bail, my brother, we're going to keep the show running for a few more minutes after you leave. But I want you to let everybody know who you are, where they can find you, and all of those good details.
Yeah, come on over to cleverleads.com, and we have a little bit of a private community that we're building behind the scenes and teaching all of our secret tricks and top strategies. So looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless. I have to run early. Very busy day. So,
all right, brother.
You're in good hands.
So glad you could be here with us today, my friend. Thank you very much.
See you, buddy.
Hey, guys.
Later, bud.
Let me jump on Nick's point there. So, why are you laughing? What?
You want to jump on Nick's point?
Oh,
anyways.
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. I love you're so infantile. I love every second. No. So I think the expectations and understanding negotiation are two things that are very important. And so what I mean by that is this: like, if you're smart enough to say to people, look, we can go 30 grand over, we can waive the appraisal, but here's what the risk that you're running, right? And understand what that means. So if we go 30 grand over asking and they accept it, and then the appraisal comes out and gives us just what they were asking, that $34,000 bank account that you had reserved for furniture and the small pool out back is now gone, right? Are you okay with that? Right. So I don't even care at that point. Like, we just got to figure out how to make ends meet. And if we make ends meet and I explain to you that this is the way, this is what's going to happen. If they come back and accept it and you sign this, I mean, the other thing is what Nick said too. We can get in litigation, and that's going to be something that's going to drag out for the next 2.5 years, and you're going to probably lose your deposit and escrow and all that stuff. So are you okay with what happens if they come back with the appraisal? If the answer is yes, and it's in writing and we have it, then at least all that expectation was set. So when they come back and the bank goes, we're going to appraise it for $13,000 less than asking. Well, now you got to come out of pocket with 43. Mm-hmm. So we got to be real clear on, it's funny because that actually happened to me. We were going to buy this condo down the shore like years and years ago. She wanted 42. We agreed, wrote up the contract. It was appraised at 36. And in hindsight, I probably should have bought it. But she was such a bitch that she came back and I went, it's only worth 36 according to the bank, so we'd like for you to lower it. And she said, nah, just come up with the $6,000 or the deal's off. And I went, take it, see ya. And it sold 2 years later for 113, I think.
Damn it.
It's a move I should have made. But it was one of those things where, like, I understood what the consequences were, and we were buying our house and, our primary residence. There was a lot of things going on. So expectations key, and really understanding what each individual choice that you make in the negotiation means to the buyer and the seller. So you have to understand that you can offer $6 million over the asking price. The problem's going to be is when the bank goes, and if the buyer's relying 100% on the bank, you're screwed.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. Like I said, it comes down to the ARM method, guys. Accept, reject, or modify whenever it comes to any of these types of negotiations. And I always come in and I talk to my buyers and sellers, and I said, guys, we have the ARM method. And they're like, what's the ARM method? Like I said before, it's the accept, reject, or modify mentality. And you put it back into their hands, and you can really put power to them. And the good thing about that is twofold. One, you resolve yourself of any type of liability, not legally. I mean, obviously they can sue you, but I mean, when it comes down to like he said, she said, it's like, look, I asked you what you wanted to do. Like, I work for you, end of story. And then two, you made the decision on kind of if you want to accept, what you're looking at, or you want to modify it, or if you would just want to, reject it. It really comes down to that. Nick, give me your thoughts.
You're a marketer at heart, my friend.
I know I am.
Know it. See, that's why people need to work with Greg McDaniel, because he's the ARM method, right? That's the kind of shit that I'm talking about when you talk about stuff like here. Okay, so let's go back to, this is marketing, but this is also, I sold cars for a very brief stint in my 20s. Okay?
That makes total sense to me.
It makes total sense. So this is the thing that they used to teach you when you went to the number one Ford dealership in the country is Brandon Ford, and it's 30 minutes away from my house. That's the dealership I worked at. They actually send you to deal school for 3 days before you're allowed to walk on the floor and sell cars for them. In this deal school, they talked about the way that you win a customer when someone's shopping for a car is highlighting all of the points of the car. And here's what I'm talking about. Just like Greg has the ARM method, we talked about this for marketing, okay? If somebody goes to a dealership and you shop for a car before, you know that you don't want to interact with a car salesman. They're slime balls. They're just there to sell you something, whatever. Chances are you've gone to multiple dealerships because you want to find the best offer, right? When you find that car dealer or that salesperson that points out 100 different things on a car, and they used to teach us to open up the hood, all the doors, literally point out all the shit with this car that, guess what? Someone's coming to buy an F-150. They already know every fucking thing about an F-150. You don't need to tell them that it's got a twin turbocharged EcoBoost engine, that it's got pedals, adjustable pedals, that it's got 60-40 split seats and 5.5-foot bed and all this bullshit they already know. But if you're the only person that says that, or you say one more thing than the last person they saw when they were looking for a car, you are the professional. You're the person that they're going to choose. So it's the same shit, just like in real estate. Greg has the ARM method. The same thing we do as marketers. We create a system and we call it something, and then we go to market with it. So what is your system? What is something that you can talk about on camera and tell people that it's a little bit different? Hey, guys, here's a perfect title. REU, Real Estate Operations in a Low Inventory Market. What's your team broker's name? Whatever it is. We got the ARM method, guys. We're in a low inventory spot. If you want to win in a low inventory position, you got to have the ARM method. DM me for details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree.
Little shit like that. It's just those small things.
Well, it comes down to also this, Nick and Gene. I want you guys both to weigh in on this. To the fact that Nick, you guys, if you don't know, Nick has lost 130 pounds. Is that right?
134.
134.
It keeps going up and up.
Love that. I love that. I'm always wrong. I love that I'm wrong. But 134 pounds, guys. He's lost like literally half of me. I think he lost my entire girlfriend.
Your head.
Shut up. But here's my point. When it comes down to a low inventory,
where are you?
Nick has
should I be mouthing right now again?
Yeah, I can't see you.
Oh, that's right. Nick. Oh, shit. This whole like operating thing is just so fucking difficult. I'll just
so everybody knows the inside joke. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, I told Greg about a feature on StreamYard last week called the solo button. And so when someone's talking, you can click the solo button and highlight them. And he was like, yeah, that's a great idea.
And he's completely Gregged it up.
We got to practice.
I'm giving you guys the fucking the spotlight. Shut up! I'm trying to make you guys look good. So we have Nick, who is the shrinking man, who is incredible, and that's a thing that you can talk about. That's how you can relate to folks that are in your marketplace. Gene is the evil bald ninja, who's neither evil but he is bald, and he chops stuff up on social media. So that's why I call him that. This is the kind of stuff. Find that little funny, weird thing about you. I mean, I have I can't show them to you because they're attached to my lights over here, but I have my Spartan Race medals that I really resonate with, and I work with a lot of people that are into running, lifting weights, out there doing burpees. By the way, burpees hate you just as much as you hate them, just to let you know. And you know what, I have a Jeep SRT, which is one of the fastest. It is the fastest Jeep in production right now, besides the Hellcat, which they just came out with. And the funny thing is, I was driving down the street yesterday, coming back from my supermarket, and I got a little head wave, a little Sarge wave from an officer who drove past me. He looked at my Jeep, and I have blacked out windows everywhere. Very illegal in California. Hope to God I don't get pulled over. And you know what? He looked at me, grinned, gave me a little salute, and I'm like, what the shit just happened? It's because you're resonating, you're finding your tribe that people are going to be running with you in. And so in a low marketplace, when it comes to getting buyers or sellers, find those people that want to run with you. Find the people that want to lose weight. Find the people that want to be bald. Find the people that want to be,
I love that, Greg. That's Gene's attribute. Contribution
and it's
to
one that
society.
everybody wants, apparently. Don't
Find
you just
all
think you were
the
bald?
fucking bald people.
Well, he's a very handsome bald man.
It's your life's mission.
Jesus. It's only fair.
But with all the jokes aside, go out there and find folks that want to kind of do what you're going to do. Like, I am a horrible fucking cook, but you know what? Last night I went out. I made a pear and gorgonzola, whatever, salad,
Yeah,
and I did some chicken, and my girlfriend was laughing at me because she's just like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, fuck no, I don't. Are you kidding me? But I made connections at the supermarket. I made connections with her. I made, connections online with people, asking for, how do I do this stuff? So it all comes back to this. If you're bald, if you're the slowly, shrinking man, if you're the guy with the SRT Jeep, whatever, the guy who can't cook, whatever that is, find your niche, guys. In these markets, people want to be around people who are just like them. So go find them. It's really that simple. And guys, we've run for an hour and 1 minute. We are way over our time frame. Nick Sakis,
Can I throw in one thing? We're over time frame. I got one more.
Okay,
juicy.
Go.
Real juicy. So we're talking about the niche, right? So for me, this is something that I could do. It just popped in my head. Go to properties, and Greg, we've talked about this before too. If you're stuck on not knowing what to do for video, go look at the market and go shoot a video and get the listing agent's permission and go shoot a video inside of a house that's in your target market. But going down the rabbit hole even more on the niche side of things, like for me, maybe I would talk about how I would outfit this after I'm done touring the whole place, how I would outfit this garage for the perfect gym. Right? What the type of foods that I would cook in this kitchen to be on a healthy diet. Here's my healthy recipe for this week, and I'm in a brand new kitchen in the subdivision that I want to target. Just content on top of content. And when you make stuff like that, you're in your target market, you're in a brand new listing, you're showing people that you're in real estate, and you're talking about the thing that you already obviously love, right? It's a home run.
I absolutely love that, dude. I love that. Absolutely. Gene. Oh, so Nick, since you're on camera right now, you're spotlighted. Where can they find you? Who are you? What market do you work in? How can they become part of your eco?
I work in the Tampa, Florida market, one of the top relocation destinations in the country. So ask your sphere if they're thinking about moving to Florida and send them to me, please. I appreciate it. Thank you. I would like some more friends on Facebook. I don't have, even though I'm an amazing person, I don't have enough people following me. I don't know why. Maybe we can change that, right? So follow me on Facebook or just type in Google Nick Sakis. And if you want to book a time with me, go to getamplifiedmarketing.com, and there is a direct link to my online calendar if you'd like to chat and get some more ideas about how you can propel your business through paid advertising.
Guys, in that Sackis is spelled Sakkis. Make sure you reach out to him and friend him. He is a beautiful, incredible human being with the biggest heart on God's green earth. That's why I associate myself with both Gene and Nick, because these are the guys who will give the shirt off their back to you to help you. And these guys have done it to me, for me. Gene, I know you're not going to promote yourself, but at least try.
This is how my mind works. How funny would that have been if after you said they give you the shirt off your back, you came to me and I had no shirt on? That would have been awesome, right? I should have done it.
Pan out, come back.
Yeah, right.
Pan out.
Oh my God. Okay, just promote yourself, fucker.
If you can read, oh no, so not everybody's watching. GeneVolpe.com. I want to say two things real quick.
Okay.
One is call Nick Sackis. Because I do when I'm stumped by Facebook ads. That's actually the first guy I reach out to. He's
Me too.
He's always been the dude, and you could see by his mannerisms and the way he talks to you. He breaks it down for you, so even an idiot can understand. Which I claim to be every once in a while, right?
Wait, are you talking to me?
No. I actually was saying about myself. I've tortured you enough today, Greg McDaniel. I'd like to tell you how much I love you. I would also like to say that to my good man down there in Tampa, it's been a good run. KC by 11 this weekend.
Oh,
they did. They
Sorry.
did.
Mahomes is talking a lot of shit right now, man.
Don't you think he should be?
He's good, but they're losing two offensive tackles, and he's talking shit. He's got replacements coming in.
Look how hot he gets. He's been poking the bear for the last 2 weeks. Let me say something to this.
We're gonna lose followers.
If you follow my Facebook profile,
go follow Sackis.
Number one, and then number two, you're gonna see the Bucks fan coming out.
It's funny. I didn't know that about you, and I love every second of it. So let me ask you this question. Speaking of the GOAT, right? The GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see back early before this year started where he went at it on Twitter with
Well, did you see him and Gronk?
Okay.
Well, Greg, ask the audience. Do you guys want to go past an hour?
We are wrapping this the fuck up.
He hates football.
I actually, my girlfriend makes me watch it. She's like way more into it than I am. And the stuff you're talking about, I actually kind of understand, but this is not a football show. This is a real estate show.
Oh.
So I love you guys. We're going to do this on another time. Again, guys, I appreciate you. My name is Greg McDaniel. I'm with the eXp Realty. Yeah, I'm shutting you both the fuck up.
That's fine. Go for it. And by the way, meet us on Clubhouse in the NFL room, and Greg won't be there.
I will not be there. But if he actually, there's an idea that was posed to me by our good friend, Mr. Aaron Wittenstein from the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections. Unfortunately, Nick, you can't join us because you don't have an Apple. But Gene, if you and I want to jump on and we can do a quick little follow-up show for about 30 minutes or something on Clubhouse, we can do a follow-up on kind of what we talked about here and answer some questions. I think that could be a lot of fun if you have the time. Guys, that might be something we might do in a different time, but this is our show today. Guys, we love you to pieces. And Gene and Nick, do your motherfucking jobs as co-hosts, and I need each side of the bow for colors. Gene, go.
Kansas City red.
Oh. Guess what? The color of the Buccaneers flag happens to be as well.
Red?
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah.
All right, guys, we're doing a red bow on this show. Thank you so much for watching and listening and laughing and hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoy the conversation, please go to anywhere you guys listen to your podcast. Give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review, and give a shout out to Nick or Gene or me on any of the content you like. That helps the algorithm get out to more people so we can help more folks kind of learn about what they're doing in the real estate business. But as always, guys, we love you to pieces. We can't do it without you. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. And until next time, peace out, ninjas. We got